Bring it all down. We got to shut it down, man. Can't have it up anymore. The Catholic faith, man, you've been here long enough. Catholic Pope. You've done a fair share of damage. Religion has created a divide like we've never seen before in the history of humankind. It's an interesting topic, right? It's one that has a lot of controversy. It's the reason for society. You know, the basis of laws, the basis of everything is off the backs of religion. Right? Nobody will argue that. Our Constitution is written. I digress. Is literally written from the commandments. Like if you look at our Constitution, and if you look at the Constitution throughout the whole world, every country puts their government off the basis of religion. And there's like corruption through and through, time after time after time. There's corruption that is found to be in each and every single faith. Without the faiths, you won't have a collection of people with similar ideas, similar viewpoints. You probably wouldn't even have a collective society at all. Without having any type of religion, you probably won't have war, you know. There's a lot of things that have been developed because of it. There's a lot of good that has been existed because of it that wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for religion. But there, time after time after time, I'm at work or I'm at home, I'm doing something, and something pops up where this priest was doing this so-and-so thing to this underage kid. These people were acting out in a way that was abusive towards some type of person, usually underage boys, and there's never repercussion. There's never a penalty. There's never even like a slap on the wrist. It's just turn the other way. Just turn the other way. You know, just as of yesterday, I don't know who broke it first, but as of this came out November 10th, 2020 at 8:30 in the morning, Pope knew of allegations against ex-Cardinal McGarrick years ago. McGarrick, one of the most prominent figures in the U.S. Catholic Church before his fall from power, was expelled from his priesthood in 2019. The previous two popes were aware of sexual misconduct allegations against American Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, but they did not halt the powerful cleric's rise through the church, according to the Vatican report released Tuesday. See what this sucker looks like. Yeah, this guy looks insane. Yeah, this guy looks ridiculous. He's 90 years old. He looks like he literally just crawled out of a hole. You can just, I don't know. I don't understand why this stuff continues to happen and people just continue not to say anything. Like, I remember growing up in the faith. I grew up Catholic, and you know, and it's weird. There's a lot of rules and regulations. The main thing that you're not supposed to do, it seems like, at least from my perspective, and I know this is a podcast that will probably just constantly get me, not in trouble per se, but people won't be happy with me, especially people that are close to me. The number one thing that you cannot do in the eyes of the Catholic faith is to question another faith or to explore another faith, ideology, But you definitely cannot question your faith, the Catholic faith. By doing so is treason. By exploring other options, it's looked down upon. And they have such a tight chokehold around everything. I remember sitting in church and they would pass around these boxes of money, of asking for money, right? And you don't know where the money goes. Like you don't have an idea of where it goes. You don't know who's getting it. You don't know how much of it's going here, how much of it's going there. You have no idea. You just kind of throw your hands up, and I don't want to completely trash it. Like I don't want to completely trash the idea of religion, because I think it has created so much positive in this world. But it is another tool that's created us versus them. Like I was talking to my buddy today, and we were talking about we were talking about Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is a fascinating one, right? Because Adolf Hitler is somebody who people don't speak about a lot, right? Nobody talks about Adolf Hitler. The only people who talk about Adolf Hitler are people who I wanted to say people who were affected by him, but I'm sure people who are Jewish and the primary victims of Adolf Hitler, they probably don't talk about him that much either. The people who probably talk about him are just, World War II historians or Adolf Hitler historians. Besides that, nobody speaks about the man. Where was I going with that? Shit, where was I going? Damn it, I forget where I was going with that. I think that I was talking about my buddy and I were talking about understanding these certain individuals and questioning their morals, right? That's what I was saying. I was talking about religion, Catholic faith. The way that Adolf Hitler was able to come to power is he was able to get people to believe that what he did was better for the nation, and he was able to create enemies. And once you create enemies, you have a target, and once you have a target, you know what you need to accomplish, right? And he did that so early, and people gathered around him. People agreed with him. People loved what he said. He was very enthusiastic when he talked. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about, and he created a us versus them, and the them was Jews, and it was easy to look at them as something that was completely different because you could blanket them as something that was evil without ever actually questioning what they did that was actually evil. Why are they actually bad people? Because if you looked into that, they just weren't, right? They just weren't bad people. They were just people that Adolf Hitler deemed bad, right? And you kind of see this with religions of all types. You see this in the way that we treat people who come from a Arabic descent, right? Because after 9/11, we developed Islamism. It's xenophobic, Islamophobic, where we have like this extreme fear. The average American has like this now extreme fear of anybody who comes from the Middle East, right? We've created this wall between us versus them. We don't need to know anything about them. We don't need to know their culture. We don't need to know their history. But what we do need to know, and the only thing that we need to know, is that they are not us and we don't like them. Right? And I felt this way about the faith when I was in it. I wasn't a fan of it. It just didn't make me feel good inside. It made me feel like I was being followed blindly. And on top of that, you constantly see these priests and these bishops and these cardinals always coming out with these just gruesome child molestation allegations. We celebrate when like the latest pope was like pro gay marriage. Like that's a celebration. Like that's embarrassing that it's taken this long for the biggest faith in the whole world to actually accept two men marrying each other. Like we look at everything through different lenses, especially when it comes to faith. And we just let things go. And the same thing that we just kind of all forgot about we all forgot about Jeffrey Epstein. These things that we should never forget about. These things that we should get to the bottom to. We can never let this go away. We can never let this news story go away and then be completely blinded by some news story that is completely has no substance to it, or even a distraction like COVID, which I'm not saying is a distraction, but what I'm saying is that it's serious, but also this is serious because there's boys and there's people out there right now who are currently being sexually assaulted and or raped every Sunday. I would confidently say that. Like I would confidently say that. At some church right now, a kid is currently counting down the days until he has to go back to church and be sexually assaulted by somebody who is considered to be closer to God than they are. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. We don't talk about it. If I talk about it, I get pushback from it, which I just don't care, because to me, I was raised that sexual allegations against a kid is always bad. Then it should never be protected. It should be punished, but it's not punished. It's not punished ever. It's never punished. You know, these people end up dying because they're 90 years old. They end up getting removed from office, whatever that means. And you see the same thing with politicians. Like I talked about a little bit on my last podcast, but they just don't get punished the same way that we do. You know? It's disturbing. There's a lot of corruption. And if you're on the inside, I'm telling you, if you're on the inside, you're safe. You're safe, it seems like. It seems like you have a protection around you at all times and you would never get in trouble. I don't know, man. It's a scary world. It's scary because it doesn't catch on. People don't talk about it. I don't know, man. I do know that the days of politics being fun are over, dude. Donald Trump is no longer going to be the president, man. What are we going to do? How are we going to get through these next 4 years? It's fascinating. I think we're just going to get back to normal. We're just going to get back to the days where nobody cared about politics. Nobody talked about it. You only talked about it if it was huge news. We're going to get back to the days where it was boring and it never really affected you. It might have affected like your uncle. You knew somebody who knew somebody who knew this person. But besides that, this is going to be no effect. It's over, man. The 4 years of the Donald Trump era are done, man. Back when it was like, you woke up every day and you were like, what is going on now? Back then when there was like excitement for it. We're just going to be back on the buying train where it's going to be quiet, you know, which I think is good for most people. I think it's good for a lot of people. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wonder what's going to happen after he gets out of office. Like, there's no way Donald Trump just goes home. There's no way. He's going to have Trump television. He's going to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. 110%. He's going to go on Rogan's podcast. He's going to go on everybody's podcast and just not stop talking. He's going to keep on talking for hours upon hours upon hours. I would say he would do his podcast, but he probably thinks he's too good for a podcast, so he's probably going to end up not doing a podcast. He's probably just going to have his own television show, go on the biggest podcast in the world, be accepted back into everybody's close group. Everyone's going to want to be friends with him. He's going to write a book just constantly exposing all the bullshit that he saw. Biden's not going to have a day off from him. He's going to constantly be tweeting at him, constantly putting stuff out through his Trump TV, which I don't know where I heard that from, but I heard he's going to have a Trump TV. Will Trump go back to TV stardom after the White House? Has Donald Trump already landed a $100 million book and TV deal from The Guardian? This came out. This article come out. I don't care when it came out. Yeah, okay, November 11th, 9/24. While books about the outgoing U.S. president have been bestsellers for the last 4 years, Trump might be a step too far for some publishers. Fact checkers are quaking in their boots amid reports that Donald Trump could be being, quote, courted for a new tomb on his time in the White House. Sources, the Murdoch-owned tabloid, the New York Post, quoted a, quote, source familiar with the president on Tuesday who claimed that Trump was being bombarded with book and TV deals that could be worth a staggering $100 million. To put into context, Barack and Michelle Obama's joint deal with Penguin Random House after they left the White House was reported to have been more than $60 million. That's a record sum. Bill Clinton's 2004 memoir netted him $15 million, while George Bush earned around $10 million for his 2010 book, Decision Points. Even as another top book source asserted in the tabloid that suggested a $100 million deal did not sound accurate, the New York Post claimed it had been told that book and TV deals were Plan B if Trump doesn't win the vote war. Translate 70 million votes into viewers and record book sales, and the anti-Trump book have made big bucks. So this from Donald is a surefire hit. Dude, he's going to go out there and make so much money that people are going to be twice as pissed. People are going to be so upset when he gets a huge publicity. Continuously gets huge publicity. That's going to be crazy, man. That man's going to make so much money. It's so weird, though, because you always see like these presidents, after they get out of office, they end up making so much money. Like, I think Obama, how much did Obama make in the White House? The Obamas are worth 30 times more than they were when they entered the White House. They got a production deal with Netflix. His estimation, these endeavors, along with the six-figure pension all former presidents receive, god damn, has significantly contributed to Obama's $40 million, $56.2 million net worth. It's crazy, man. You make so much money for being American, for being an American president. He earned $400,000 a year during his 8 years as president and earned an annual pension of about $200,000 former president. From 2005, when Barack Obama joined the U.S. Senate, from 2016, the Obamas earned a total of $20.5 million from the government salary, bulk royalties, investment income, and Michelle Obama's income from her job at University of Chicago hospitals before she became the First Lady. The Obamas entered the White House with $1.3 million net worth in 2008. That since grew to an estimated $40 million. Somebody knows how to invest their money big time. And it looks like the country's starting to shut back down again. Like, I know New York City or Maryland, University of Maryland. Maryland had a huge, Governor Hogan came out and had an announcement on Tuesday the 10th to just kind of go over everything again, because Maryland's been, like, for our coronavirus numbers, we've been increasing. We're up to about 5% positivity rate. The federal limit is 10%, which I don't really know what that means. I think that means, like, if you're at a 10% positivity rate, you have to step in and shut some shit down. I think that's what it means. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty confident that's what it means. And so we were at 5%. We are 5%. And the federal cutoff is 10%. But places like South Dakota was up to 54.5% positivity rate. That means 55% of people who go in to get a test come back positive. But Governor Hogan came on, he talked, and he didn't really do anything dramatically. He did kind of re-lock down some things, he didn't lock things back down, but he did go over what we need to continue to do to be able to fight this illness. He took restaurants and stuff and cut them back down to 75%. Maryland has been super liberal on this the entire way. Like kind of loosey-goosey with their rules. I mean, not nearly as much as like a Dakota or like a Missouri or like a Kentucky or even like a Texas. Because we all remember when Georgia reopened their state. That Georgia reopened their state so early in their process. Like they opened their state, it seemed like June, maybe even earlier than that. But even Maryland, like Ocean City, Maryland, they reopened right before Memorial Day. Like I think they were open like the day of or like the weekend of Memorial Day. So they didn't lose out on any profits. Like their economy killed. Like that beach had no social distancing. That beach was straight up like party central every single day. But also like you can't blame them. You know, they need to make their money. They need that income. You know, it's either that or everybody loses a job. But like it looks like the country's starting to shut back down. Like Governor Cuomo from New York City is starting to shut his state back down. Governor Cuomo announced new coronavirus restrictions Wednesday, including a cap on the number of people allowed to gather in private homes and a curfew on bars. Okay, so just a curfew. New York NYS is taking action to stop the spread in response to rising COVID numbers. Any establishment with the state liquor license, including bars and restaurants, must close at 10. Gyms must also close at 10. There are new statewide rules that must be affected. Because coronavirus is it's taking over again, which, you know, is kind of to be expected. But Pfizer did have their, God, dude, there's so much shit going on overseas. Just beheadings and shit. It's crazy, man. Pfizer did have the 90% Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine announcement explained. Pfizer says the COVID vaccine BNT162b2 is 90% effective. Results are promising, but lack of data very concerning, experts say. Oh, that's cool. Pfizer CEO sold $5.6 million of stock as company announced vaccine data that sent shares soaring. I wonder why he sold so much. He sold 132,508 stocks at an average price of $41.94 per share, or nearly $5.6 million, according to financial filings. This sale was part of a pre-scheduled blah, 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 blah. Pfizer confirmed that sale in a statement added the Bora has a larger holding in the companies through the company's qualified and non-qualified savings plan. That dude made some fucking money. That's what's so sketchy about it, man. Like, he sold 132,000 shares at an average price of $41.94. The sale was part of a pre-scheduled, which was adopted on August 19th, the filing shows. As the company was enrolled. Yeah, okay, cool. See, that's just weird to me. Like, I get it. Insider trading's illegal, right? Like, you can't do it. And the reason why you can't do it is because you can make a shit ton of money. And it's not fair. Like, the whole part of the whole thing about the stock market is it's supposed to be fair for everybody. Like, I should be able to get the same information that the CEO gets, except I just can't see how the companies run from the inside. But everything else, I should get the same information from. But if I'm CEO and I get stats, like if I got that 90% positivity rate before it went public, I would buy millions and millions of dollars of stocks literally before we put out that 90% positivity rate, or the 90% positive results of the vaccine. I would buy every single stock possible, and then when we put that out, I would sell it, and I'd make a shit ton of money. That's insider trading. You can't do that. It's illegal. It's unbalanced. It's not fair for everybody. But when you see things like that, when you see like people like him who sells 132,000 stocks, makes that much money off of it, when I don't even think the Pfizer CEO salary, his salary is, oh my God. I guess he makes a lot of money. What's the salary of him? $16 million. Okay, the guy makes a lot of money. But still, a $5 million payday because you know that the stock's gonna rise. Like that's always sketchy and stuff like that. And the same way I started off this podcast, everything's so sketchy. Like everything just seems super, super weird and it's fuzzy and you don't like it. Like the Catholic thing, like that really annoys me. It annoys me because nobody fucking talks about it. How can no one talk about it? It's so obvious. It happens all the time. Like there's a reason why there's an ongoing joke about altar boys. Like the whole faith says like you can't marry a girl. What do you mean you can't marry a girl? What do you mean you can't date somebody? You got to date the church the whole time? Everything about it, it's almost like it has to fall down. It has to be completely shut down. We just can't have it anymore. We just can't have it anymore. But then you ask guys like Friedrich Nietzsche who would say that's the end of civilization. Which I don't know. Like, I don't know much about it. But if God is dead, then I guess people go crazy, you know, because death is the scariest thing in the world. As Ernest Becker said, the denial of death is what causes us. Like, it's a fine line. Like, the reason we know we die, so we try to create as much as we possibly can, because the more and more and more you have, the farther from reality you are. That's why you see people who are super famous who can do crazy stuff all the time because they feel inside that they can get away with it. Because they're literally above the world. They're above everything. Like they can't get in trouble. You know, you create something that's so much bigger than you that where you can't get punished anymore. You know? And it happens all the time. You know, it happens all the time. And I think that's how a lot of these people feel who hold these positions in the Catholic Church, even just priests. I mean, they're literally looked at as gods. Like, if you're under the age of 10, that priest is Jesus to you. You know, and if you're older than that, if you're old enough to recognize that they're just a person, you're still told that they're above you, but they're not above God. So they're between. You know? Okay. Sorry for the interruption. I mean, yeah, you're literally taught that these people are more than you. And it creates this separation of people versus elites. And these elites get away with so much shit. And they continuously do it because they get away with it. Jeffrey Epstein gets away with it. This cardinal is going to get away with it. He's not going to get in trouble. The local priest down the street in your church, he's going to get away with it. He's going to be fine. He's going to walk out with blood on his hands, but nothing matters. I don't know. You see it all the time, man. It's depressing, but it happens. And it happens on a consistent basis. And nobody calls it out because we just act like it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing and that a bunch of boys get raped. No, it's not. It's not a normal thing. It's not a normal thing for altar boys to literally have jokes because of what happens to them. It's disturbing. It's super disturbing. What also is disturbing is my voice. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I've been talking so much these past few days at work and the podcast and just in general. So I apologize that this podcast isn't the same as my other ones. It's not nearly as long. It's probably my shortest podcast ever. It's just barely 30 minutes, barely half an hour. But I need to give my voice box a break. I'm slowly losing my voice. I think I got the Rona. I'm I'm just kidding. I don't have the Rona. But it is almost Thanksgiving time. That's crazy. The year has been the quickest year in the history of all years. But, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a super short podcast. But it is what I can do. It's all I can do right now. I don't know. It hurts. Like my ear hurts talking right up here, right underneath of my, literally right underneath my ear, that bone, my jaw bone. It's killing me. I just need to be quiet. I'm doing homework all day and the weather's got me fucked up. The weather's so sad looking. But, yeah, guys, that's it. I'm going to catch you guys in episode 140 of the show with me, Michael Labs. Until then, guys, have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you then. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys then.